Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Manchester United podcast. My name's Cormac and today I'm joined by Sam and Toluwa. Lads, how are we doing, Sam? All right?
Good, all good.
Yeah, and Toluwa?
Always good after 3 points.
Absolutely, yeah. So, obviously, United scraped a 3-2 win yesterday against Ipswich. Our centre-backs really led the way scoring goals. What were your thoughts on the match, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've come to expect as fans this year that no game's simple, and it proved that way straight from minute one. Really, obviously Ipswich getting that first goal, which wasn't great, and then as you said, our defenders sort of saving the game yesterday, and I think that sort of sums up where we're at in terms of an attacking sense. And then obviously the sending off sort of changed the game a little bit and gave Ipswich a bit of hope. And obviously they got the goal pretty much straight after that red card as well. And Almiron had to make some tactical tweaks. But yeah, we got through it eventually. And I think that's sort of the main point from yesterday in terms of, despite how we played, it's just sort of it's more about the result and getting that win. And I think the reaction from the crowd and the reaction from the players was almost relief, because I think as a club we haven't experienced a win in a couple of weeks. So I think getting the good mood around the camp is always good, and hopefully that carries on into the weekend.
Yeah, and Toluwa, your thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of a relief because, like Sam mentioned, it's been just a tough couple of weeks. Honestly, just a tough season in general. Honestly, I thought the players played decent. I liked the performance, despite going 1-0 down early on to a mistake. I thought the players showed a lot of heart. I liked the way that Zirkzee played. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes always gives you everything, but I like that Zirkzee did it up until the final whistle. I was really impressed finally by Maguire because he's always on the end of headers, but he doesn't normally score them. He's not really proficient with it. And finally, we saw it again today. And De Ligt with a good finish. I mean, it's just all coming together. I feel like the last two performances have definitely shown improvement. I thought the players, obviously in the second half, being down to 10 men, they showed everything. It was a valiant performance, and I'm looking forward to Fulham. I'm looking forward to the rest of the Premier League fixtures because I feel like the players can take, something from this result.
Yeah, no, there was definitely great heart shown, and even a bit of a clash in the middle with Ugarte squaring up to the left, and you just see Mazraoui flying in and taking the yellow. You love to see it. One of the huge talking points, I think, of the game was Onana's performance. Obviously, with the first goal, mixed up with Dorgu. Who do you think was kind of more at fault for that, Dorgu or Onana? Sarah, you, Sam?
I think it has to be Onana. I think you have to question Onana's past couple performances. Obviously, he didn't have a great performance against Everton. He was at fault for their second goal where he parried it up and Takori got on the end of it. And then yesterday, obviously, a miscommunication with him and Dorgu. But there's just no need for Onana to come out that far. And I think there's, as Toluwa said there, I think we are starting to see more grit and heart from a lot of those players, and a lot of players are starting to maybe turn a corner, and okay, there's not maybe that quality there, but they're always sort of fighting to the very end. But then there are certain individuals where still you need to see improvement, and I think Onana is definitely one of them. I think Hoyland's another where we are starting to question when are they going to sort of turn the corner in their season. But yeah, I think, I didn't like Onana's performance at all, even after that mistake, to be honest. I think every time he got on the ball, he looked a bit nervous. He kicked the ball out of play a couple of times. And it's funny with Onana because some games I watch him and he makes some good saves. And I do think he's a good shot stopper. But I think what we brought him in to do and what he's meant to be good at with his feet, and he just doesn't look trustworthy, and then he makes the mistake even for the second Ipswich goal. I know obviously it's hard because he doesn't know if there's going to be a touch on the end of it, but I just want to see my goalkeeper come out and take command of the 6-yard area and claim the ball and give everyone that reassurance and confidence. And I'm like, when the ball's 5-6 yards away from your goal line. Just come and take that pressure off the defenders. And yeah, obviously a touch didn't come in and it went past him. But yeah, not a great performance from him again, to be honest.
Yeah, no, not at all. Toluwa.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to put any blame on Dorgu in that situation because, like Sam said, why is Onana coming all the way out? I mean, it seemed a fairly routine situation where Onana would stay in goal, Dorgu would pass it back, and it'd be a clearance. And Onana is just, you don't know what you're going to get from him. And for £50 million, it's like that's a lot of money to be questioning whether or not you're going to get a good performance or not. And especially in the Premier League, we've seen mistakes from Onana this season, especially the game against Nottingham Forest. I mean, that game kind of sealed it for me. Last season with the Champions League, I was so frustrated because to me, he single-handedly cost us moving on to the next round. You know what I mean? So it's just I can't really support Onana anymore. And I was thrilled to see Onana come through because how often do you see a black goalkeeper in the Premier League playing for one of the best teams? I know, race has nothing to do with it, but it's a rare thing. You never see it. So I had that extra confidence in him to say, you know what, he's going to take charge. Like Sam said, you want to see him come out and command the box. I don't trust Onana for 1 second. I actually put more faith in Bioniq to come out and command the box because he's more of a bigger presence. He's taller. He might not be as technically gifted as Onana with the ball at his feet and shot stopping like Sam said, but at least I know that he's going to try and come out and claim the ball. Onana's a bit shaky, and I don't know. It's tough because we went from De Gea, who was making, mistakes as well. He cost us a final, in my opinion. And people are making those comparisons, and it's hard to support Onana when we had De Gea for so long. Yeah, he made mistakes, but he was clutch. And Onana hasn't really been clutch in the games that matter the most. I feel like he lets us down in the game that mattered the most. So I have to go with Onana.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I think a lot of us, when we signed Onana, thought, those mistakes wouldn't be happening anymore like we've seen with De Gea, but they've been, just the same, if not worse, really. And, when we spent so much money on it, we thought we wouldn't have a goalkeeping issue at all. But yeah, no, it seems to have backfired completely. And yeah, no, I agree. Onana, I don't know what he's doing coming out for that one. And even the second one, I mean, you see those a lot, but I really didn't think the lap was that close to even getting the ball, really. And Onana, yeah, just looked shaky in goal. And yeah, he's not looking himself. I'll tell you, he's lucky Bioniq's injured at the moment, because if he was there, I'd say absolutely we should be putting Bioniq, and Onana should get a little spell on the bench, and maybe that would fix him. We'll go for our first ad break now. When we come back, we will look towards the FA Cup clash with Fulham on Saturday.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
So looking forward to Fulham on Saturday. Obviously, if we win, we'll be in the quarterfinals, and the FA Cup was, a saving grace for us last year, really getting us European competition after not a great season. Start with you, Toluwa, this time. Are you confident going into this game against Fulham on Saturday?
I'm more confident knowing that we got 3 points yesterday. If we had come out of that game with anything but 3 points, it would have been another, well, what's going to happen now? You never know what to expect with this team anymore. But I feel like we've come to expect, a negative result. So winning against Ipswich was a huge boost to my confidence. I'm sure it was a huge boost to the players' confidence. I think against Fulham, it's going to be another tough one. Obviously, the last time we played Fulham was just a boring snooze fest. It was pretty bad game, and we got saved by a wonder strike. But this time we don't have Lisandro, so we're going to have to come up with something different. I just feel like the players are starting to, like I said, have more grit and determination. Sam said it perfectly. The quality might still not be there. I feel like even though Zirkzee is a quality player, he still hasn't really gelled with the team yet. You can tell in moments where he has an idea, but his teammates aren't really there. And with time, that'll come. I feel like Fulham's going to be a big test because it's just a one-off. You win or you lose. So I feel like the players will be prepared and will be ready to go.
Yeah, and Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the cup competitions can be sort of the only saving grace for our season, I think. So it is a big game going into it, but it just makes me nervous. I know we got the 3 points against Ipswich, and hopefully that does boost the sort of confidence and morale of the team. But it just makes me nervous that 20 minutes before full time yesterday, I know we're down to 10 men, but we're sort of parking the bus and defending for our lives against Ipswich. And I kept thinking yesterday, if this is any other team, bar maybe Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, they probably punish us and we're probably lucky to get a win out of that game. So I think Fulham are really going to go for it against us on Sunday. And I think it's going to be a tough test. As Toluwa said, it was sort of a boring game and we got the 3 points at Craven Cottage. But I think, yeah, it's going to be another tough game on Sunday, and I just hope it's sort of as I've said, that sort of win yesterday gives us the confidence to really go in there and have a good go at it. To be honest, because as I've said, it's either the FA Cup or the Europa League that can sort of give us the only sort of saving grace of the season. So yeah, hopefully that can really spur them on to get through to the quarters.
Yeah, no, please God. And, Fulham, to be fair, they're coming off a good win away to Wolves 2-1. Wolves, obviously, they're below us, but, they've been on a decent run of form the last 5 games. Any players you're nervous about facing or think could cause us problems this weekend, Toluwa, for Fulham?
Yeah, for sure. There's a number of players. Obviously, starting from the back, I love Anthony Robinson. I think he's a really class left back, and whoever's on the right hand side is gonna have a tough day going up against him, especially tracking back because he loves to get forward. It's gonna be, the players are gonna have to focus, and if I'm correct and going with the way that Amarim has been lining up, Dalot is gonna start in that wing back position, and his form has been very shaky. I'm not giving up on him yet. I know that he plays 90 minutes every game, so it's expected. It's a tough situation that he's in, but that's a tough opposition to go up against. Moving up the pitch, I'm really not looking forward to the prospect of either Rodrigo Muniz or Raul Jimenez, which whoever of them start is going to be a handful. Like Sam said, if we had played any other team in those last 20 minutes of the game, besides Ipswich and the bottom, teams, a player like Raul Jimenez or Muniz, they would punish us for sure. I feel like the pace that we have at the back is just not enough to deal with players that are cunning and crafty and can get in behind the man, So those are the players I feel like are the danger for Fulham. I feel like if we can just get past their press, I feel like a lot of teams know that we're very slow in our build-up, so they'll press really high up. I feel like as soon as we get past that first line of press, we'll be able to do something against Fulham.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Sam?
Yeah, like Toluwa said, he mentioned Munoz there. Obviously, he's coming off the back of a great goal against Wolves. I think he's really going to be a threat going forward for Fulham. I mean, as he mentioned before, I think Maguire, to be honest, under Almiron has really impressed. He's been one of our, if not our best defender. I mean, it's one of them where I keep saying every week I still don't think he's good enough to play for us for where we want to be. But then he plays really well every week, and he comes up with some important goals for us. So, and I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, he scored obviously against Leicester in the previous round, I think, with that header. So hopefully he can keep Munoz quiet and be an attacking presence going forward. Adama Traore as well, he's always a threat, especially if the lot's on gonna play a left wing back, then he's gonna have to be careful of Adama Traore going forward. And then on the left hand side, whether it's Smith Rowe, whether it's Harry Wilson, I think, yeah, going forward, Fulham pose a real threat. I mean, I think they've proved that with their formal season. So I think we're just gonna have to watch their attacking presence going forward, to be honest, and hopefully Onana sort of gets a talking to after yesterday and stays on his line a bit more. And yeah, hopefully he does the business in goal as well. Because if Bayern wasn't injured, I mean, he's our cup keeper, so he would be playing. So hopefully Onana steps in and does an important job for us.
Yeah, no, I hit on the nail there. You know, their attack, Fulham, they have a lot of, on paper anyway, great players, and even Iwobi, another one I'd throw up there in the attack, who, you know, I think's having a great season for them. But as good as their attack is, I think you look at their defence, like you said, Toluwa, Anthony Robinson, you know, phenomenal. I could see him getting moved soon. And then even Calvin Bassey, I think, is a great centre back. You know, I think he'd be an ideal player for United system. You know, I'd love to see him in United jersey someday. But yeah, no, I just think it's going to be, the forwards are going to have to be on their A game, because Fulham, you know, their back line is just as good as their attack. So yeah, it's going to be a close game for sure. Hopefully United can pull it out. And before we go to the break, I just want to touch on you, Toluwa. You're on the Fulham crossover, obviously, yesterday. How was that? And how was, speaking of the Fulham side of the daily podcast?
Yeah, it was cool. Cool to get a different perspective as well. Obviously, he wants to win the game just as much as we do. So talking to him, he was a little bit biased with some of his choices, which is fair. But it's nice to see and refreshing to see another aspect, another perspective from another fan in the Premier League as well. He was saying basically how, you know, we're going through this period that we're going through, but to be fair, most of the teams in England never even get a sniff of what we've had, you know. So it made me kind of realize, like, you know, he's a very loyal fan to Fulham, and it'd be nice to talk to them again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, time for a quick break, and then when we're back, we'll wrap up with a prediction, and then all prediction for lineups, and then a score prediction as well. So be right back.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Do you have a story to tell that the world needs to hear? Have you struggled with reaching new audiences who are engaged with your story? It might be time for you to start a podcast. Let me tell you about the platform we use here at Global Sports Podcast Network. Zencastr makes it easy to start a high-quality podcast built for growth from day one. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes ums, ahs, ya knows, and 22 other speech patterns, Zencastr makes it super easy to start a podcast that sounds great. Ready to tell your story? Check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
So I think the common theme between these predicted lineups the last few weeks has been, it's been very predictable. I think in a few places now, obviously, with Doyle going out and guys coming back from injury, it might be a bit less predictable. But we'll start off with, I think, a very predictable one, and that's goalkeeper Toluwa. Who do you think is going to be in net for us?
Yeah, it's gotta be Onana. I mean, I don't even think we have anybody else that could, you know, live up to the position and the weight of the quarterfinals. So it's gotta be Onana.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be Onana. I'll be surprised if it's any different. And as we've highlighted, he's had a shaky couple of games, if not season. So hopefully, maybe this is the game where he can sort of turn it around and be an important aspect for him, an important game for him, because he will definitely sort of face more shots than he did yesterday. So yeah, Onana.
Yeah, I think this will be one of the more important games from, you know, FA Cup, huge competition for us. And yeah, the last 2 weeks he's had a great performance. Tomorrow will do huge from him, I'm sure. But yeah, I agree with Onana, definitely 100%. Moving on to the three centre-backs then. Sam, so are you?
Yeah, again, I think it'll be pretty much exactly the same as the other night with De Ligt, Maguire and Yoro. Obviously, we saw Lindelof come on for a few minutes the other night there, but yeah, I think it'll be the exact same three as the other night.
Yeah, Toluwa?
Yeah, I have to share that same sentiment. I think Amarim is very, you know, he knows he has the same lineup pretty much every game. I'd like to see Lindelof come in just to give one of the center backs a break. Probably more so Maguire than De Ligt or Yoro. I feel like Maguire has been playing a lot more ever since he came back from his injury. So I'd like to see Lindelof just step in and give him a little time off and And hopefully Lindelof, if he does play, has a good performance. He's always had I feel like, the potential to be a good center back, but he's just not really consistent enough. So yeah, I feel like the back three will stay the same as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be De Ligt, Maguire, and Yaron. I thought, they had played very well given the circumstances yesterday against Ipswich. I would like to see, probably not the game from, but Aidan Heaven at some point. There's been a lot of hype around him last 2 weeks, but yeah, I think just the FA Cup match with a lot online, I don't think we'll see him play. But yeah, I agree with you there, boys. Then moving on to the wing backs now, obviously Dorgu had a bit of a hard challenge yesterday, be out for a few games. We'll start with right wing back, Sam.
Right wing back. I think as you mentioned there, Dorgu obviously will be out for this game, so I think Mazraoui will probably come in on the right. And it's unfortunate because I think we were starting to see a bit of a better pattern with a left-footed left wing back and a right-footed right wing back, but now obviously with Dorgu out, I mean, Mazraoui's going to have to come in on the right, which, I mean, we'll get onto the left back, but that means frees up a space for Dalot there as well.
Yeah, Toluwa.
Yeah, it's got to be Mazraoui. Even though that's not the position that we signed him to play, it's one that I'm sure he's at least comfortable with, familiar with. So Mazraoui for the right wing back spot.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And then I'm guessing we're all going to be saying Dalot, Sam.
Yeah, Dalot on the left. And I think, to be honest, as I said about the left-footed left back and right-footed right wing back, I think not only does it look just better on the eye in terms of it gives you more options when it comes to going forward, but I think it also suits sort of our forward three as well, especially Hoyland. I think when Dalot is always having to cut back on that right and not first time, and he's not able to first time cross it like the option Dorgu gives you. I think for Hoyland, especially when he's running into the box and he's had to sort of slow his run down or hold back, I really think that sort of doesn't help his case up front either. But yeah, it'll be I expect it'll be Dalot on the left.
Yeah, Toluwa, agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yesterday, I saw something a little bit interesting with Dorgu. I found not only was he making overlapping runs, but he was kind of playing like an inverted fullback or wing back, I guess you would call it, in this system. So if Dalot does play, which we probably will at left wing back, I feel like he'll cut in a lot more, like Sam said, and that might give up more space to whoever's playing on the left hand side. I don't know who that might be, but I feel like Dalot going down the left just won't work. That's going to be something that I feel like Fulham will also exploit. So we're going to have to be careful with that.
No, I agree. Dalot, he's played there a lot this season down the left wing side, especially early on. And yeah, it just doesn't seem to suit him all. Left foot, he doesn't really have it. And it's a shame Dorgu now will be out for a few games because he was starting to look, quite good. And he was making, as you said, those positive runs and overlapping, looking for the ball all the time. So it's a shame for him that he'll be out for a little while. And then moving on to the two holders, start with you this time, Toluwa.
I mean, if Emerim goes with how he normally does, then it'll probably be Bruno and Ugarte again. But at the same time, these players put in a shift in the last game. So I feel like one of them will be due some type of rest. Bruno has been playing 90 minutes for the past 5 seasons, it seems like, every game. So he's not going to bench Bruno, though. Too important of a game. I feel like Ugarte is too important because he's an engine. He gets back and forth, but in a game like this, maybe he'll go with Eriksen. Maybe. I can't see Casemiro starting. He's not good enough to start, in my opinion, anymore. But maybe Eriksen to give us a little more creativity on the ball while Bruno is trying to do everything at once. So if I had to go for it, I'd say definitely Bruno and Ugarte. But I would like to see Eriksen come in and give one of those guys a break as well.
Yeah, Sam?
Yeah, see, I sort of agree and disagree in terms of what Toluwa says. In terms of I agree that I don't think Casemiro can cut it as a starter anymore. But saying that, I actually have a feeling that he might come in next to Ugarte actually on Sunday, and not giving anything away. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's going to drop Bruno. But I think Casemiro is might potentially come in next to Ugarte, and it also gives us, and just to try and get in the mind of Amarin, I think it also gives us obviously more of a defensive minded option there with Ugarte and Casemiro against, as we've already highlighted, a very a very attacking and good going forward Fulham side. So potentially Casemiro might come in, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a pity we don't have Casemiro 2 years ago, because I'd say he'd be the first name on the sheet. But no, yeah, I definitely think Ugarte would be there. Bruno will be starting. I just don't know if Hoyland, maybe they might push him up, because we're as bare bones as it gets up top. Really, a lot of guys getting sold recently and stuff. So definitely Ugarte. I could see Casemiro also starting, like you said, Sam. Kind of big game experience as well from him could help, but I do think it will be Bruno Ugarte, although I would like to see maybe Bruno get pushed up higher a bit in this game. But yeah, I think Bruno Ugarte would be the holders. And then moving to the two behind the striker. Toluwa, will start with you.
Yeah, like you said, we're pretty bare bones up top. So I'd like to see, I feel like every United fan would like to see Cheeto, but he's just too young. It's not smart to rely on such young players in such big atmospheres like this. I feel like it's going to have to be Garnacho. I feel like he's a sure in because, like you said, we really have nobody else. And on the right, if, it goes back to the Ipswich game, it's going to be Xerxes. Those would probably be my two. I would also like to push Bruno up a little bit more, but I feel like we just don't have enough cover in the midfield. He's just such an engine. And we saw that yesterday with his long busting sprints. Like, he just gives everything for the team. I'd like to see him just kind of control the midfield. But yeah, Garnacho and Xerxes for me.
Yeah, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, as I've alluded to, I think it would definitely be Xerxes. And this doesn't necessarily mean I agree with Almiron if he does do this, because to be honest, I feel a bit bad for Garnacho yesterday being dragged off because of the injury to Dorga. I thought he was actually our best attacker. And then obviously he walked straight down the tunnel, and Almiron got asked about it and said that he'll talk to him about it. So that's why I think potentially he might push Bruno up on the left and bench Garnacho for Sunday. Again, I don't agree with that at all if he does do that, because I think Garnacho was our best attacking option going forward. He's our only attacker at the minute with Ahmad out that gives us that pace going forward, gives us that sort of pace running at defenders one-on-one. But because of Garnacho going down the tunnel, and obviously Almiron and Garnacho having that history of disputes earlier on in the season, I think he might try push Bruno more up the pitch and on the left. And on Bruno, I mean, I think we're all in agreement. Yesterday, for me, that was one of the best performances this season I've seen of Bruno. He just ran all over the pitch, and he's one player that is just so reliable, and he gives his absolute all to everything for United. And I think if we want to sort of build a sort of project in the next couple of years, Bruno is the epitome of everything we want in a player for United right now. So I think, yeah, he has to start. It's just what position he starts, and I think potentially we could see him off the left on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bruno, it was a pure captain's performance, really. As you said, he was everywhere, and getting 2 assists as well. Yeah, where would we be without him? He's been, even though think he's fallen off a little bit from last season, he's still by far most creative, player going forward. Yeah, he had a superb game, like you said. Yeah, I think Xerxes should be a shoe in there, and it's kind of going back to, will it be Bruno or Garnacho? And I don't think Garnacho helped himself. I don't know if you've seen that Instagram post he posted, but he was getting a bit of stick for it today online. So yeah, they've had a history, as you said, him and Amarim, Sam. So yeah, we'll see what they have to do. But I have a feeling he might go Garnacho. So yeah, I'd say Garnacho, Xerxes, and then rounding it up front, who do we have, Sam?
Well, I have Hoyland. I think Almiron has this trust and faith in Hoyland, and even though the past couple games he's been subbed off after 70th minute, and I think even yesterday, that's why I say it was unfair on Garnacho, because I even think Hoyland could have been taken off. And it as Toluwa said, I'd love to see Obi sort of get a start, but he's obviously very young, and as you said as well, Cormac, it's a big game to sort of throw him in there. So I think it will be Hoyland, but I wouldn't be surprised if Obi got some minutes again on Sunday.
Yeah, Toluwa?
Yeah, it's got to be Hoyland, but I just don't know what has gone wrong with Hoyland. I feel like, when he first came, he was electric. I know that the team wasn't in the best situation, but he was making something out of nothing, And then this season, I know he was injured at the start, but ever since he came back from the injury, he's just been so bad. He's been a ghost of himself. And in the game against Ipswich, it'd be one thing if, he would get the ball to his feet and he'd lose it like he normally does because his touch isn't that great. But it seemed like he wasn't even involved with the play. Like it didn't seem like the players wanted to give him the ball. It didn't seem like he was getting himself into positions to even receive the ball. So there's some type of disconnect with him and his teammates for sure. I agree with Sam, Amarim coming out and saying that he thinks Hoyland has a lot of potential and that his teammates need to do more for him. I agree with that. I feel like there's just something not clicking with him. Maybe it's the introduction of Xerxes because I feel like Amarim trusts Xerxes more, even though he's a new signing. And maybe that might rub Hoyland the wrong way. But the fact of the matter is Xerxes is so much more reliable on the ball than Hoyland is and gives us a little bit more dynamism moving forward than Hoyland does. So it's got to be Hoyland, but I hope that he can finally just prove the doubters wrong and get back into his goal scoring ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it perfectly there. He just doesn't seem himself at the moment. I think he's gone like the last 17 games or something without scoring. And yeah, I mean, he's not even involved with the link-up play at all. And to be fair, service isn't great for him a lot of the times, but you'd like to see him a bit more involved and maybe dropping deep and stuff, but he doesn't even have that right now. And I think his performance was summed up last night where that ball got played across and he dummied it. Don't know why he didn't shoot perfect for a left foot shot, but he just let it go, and we're down a man. I'm not sure who we thought was making a run in behind him. But yeah, no, I think it will be Hoyland, but I honestly would like to see, maybe if 60 minutes into the game, if Hoyland's not doing anything, bring Obi Merton on for the last half an hour and give him a shot, because surely he can offer something better than what Hoyland's been offering lately. It hasn't been great at all from him.
Well, the thing is, Cormac. Sorry, like in the first half, Hoyland had 8 touches. I mean, that's not good enough at all. To be our number 9, our main striker, to have 8 touches in one half. I mean, yeah, Toluwa's right that okay, maybe he might not be getting the service, but you've got to do more. You have to do more. We have to be seeing more from Hoyland. And yeah, he runs about and does a bit, but even his press, he'll run a bit and like you can't kid us like that you can't. He's running, but he's not actually pressing properly. And then 8 touches, it's just not good enough at all. And that's why I say like maybe just bench him like for a game or so, and because it's just not good enough performances. And then maybe that might be like kick him up the arse a bit and make him go for it. But yeah, it's just
no, I agree. I mean, 8 touches when you're spending 70 million or 60 million pound on a player, and for him to have 8 touches and a half is a joke. When you're spending that money, you want those players having an impact, and yeah, he just hasn't been impactful at all for us really this season, and it's a shame to see. I know he's young. Hopefully he'll keep improving, but yeah, no, it's just he seemed to have regressed in the last 2 years at United. But yeah, that rounds out the predicted lineup. We'll move on now to the score prediction, lads. Start with you, Toluwa. What are we thinking?
Just based on the way that we played against them last time, I feel like it's going to be kind of a similar game. I know that Fulham is going to want to come out and attack, but we play such a way that we just nullify a lot of teams, and it just kind of turns into maybe one off chance somebody will score and that'll be it. I feel like this game might actually go to extra time and penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I have just a strong feeling that we might not be able to get it done in full time. And then another extra time period will kill these players, So like literally they might not have legs after. So, but I know that, seeing from this 10-man performance that they can come together and hold it and make it secure. So maybe penalties, but yeah, I definitely see extra time for sure.
Extra time.
Yeah, I would say maybe 1-1 going into extra time.
Yeah. And Sam?
Yeah, completely read my mind there, to be honest. I can see it going to penalties. I think it might be 1-1 after extra time and penalties, and hopefully we win. But I hope it doesn't go to extra time, because obviously we've got Thursday night football to play in Spain as well. So I think if it goes to extra time come Thursday, our players will be absolutely shot. So yeah, extra time, penalties, and hopefully a win.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it's gonna sound like I'm copying you lads, but yeah, no, I had in my mind too a draw. I think it will be kind of a low scoring game. I think Toluwa, you hit a good there, a 1-1 draw I can see, and then I think United can use that magic they've been using like against Arsenal in extra time and come out. Yeah, I can see it going the distance, depends, but you've been fortunate in that aspect this season, so I think they can pull one more through this weekend. So yeah,
How sorry to cut you, but how crazy is it that we don't even have the confidence to say that
Yeah.
United will
I
win?
know. Yeah, I know.
Well,
There's
it's been
been
so, you know.
yeah. I know Kieran's normally the optimistic one, and I know he's giving me and you a bit of stick, Sam, for the Spurs prediction.
Yeah.
But no, it's hard to be. I mean, United just haven't been playing that well at all this season, and watching the last few games, you have to be realistic, I
Tough.
think.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that in previous rounds of the FA Cup we beat Arsenal. We've beaten City this year. We've drawn at Anfield, and yet we're still not confident enough to beat Fulham at Old Trafford. I mean, that just sums up our season, really.
Yeah, I know. I think we might be a bit more confident if it was like City or Liverpool. But yeah, no, that exactly. We just haven't been great this season. But yeah, any final thoughts, lads? Start with you, Toluwa, just before we close
Yeah,
up.
just to kind of piggyback off what you guys said, it would be nice for OB to get some minutes, because he is such a hot prospect. I kind of want to see a situation where you strike while the iron is hot. He's playing in good form for the youth level. Why not just give him a chance and see what he does? It'll definitely give us something different because no other team has seen the way he plays, in the first team level. So it'll definitely bring something different. I'd definitely like to see him on Sunday.
Yeah, and final thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I also wanted to sort of shout out our own fans from yesterday, because I don't know about you lads, but I thought the fans in the stadium and the atmosphere was amazing yesterday. You obviously had Agate and Casemiro sort of pumping their chest at the end, and the fans sort of getting right behind the team, and that is the thing that you can never doubt about our fans and our atmosphere. No matter the results this season, we always get behind our team, and I thought yesterday, all right, it's against Ipswich. Okay, we sort of scraped the result, but I hope that given the reaction that we saw at Old Trafford from the fans and after the full-time whistle, I really hope the players see that and that gives them the confidence to go, you know what, like, look at our fans giving us the support there. We need to have more nights like that. So I hope we go into another game at Old Trafford and the players really go, you know what, like we want to feel that more, and we want to give these fans what they deserve. So yeah, big up our fans, and hopefully we see it. And I know we're going to see an amazing atmosphere again on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Can never question the United faithful. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Sam, Toluwa, thanks for joining me. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back on Monday discussing a United win. Thank you.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.